What up, guys? Fruit Punch Savior. Let me lower this. I'm back with some more Chaos Head. Keep out. We're still on the first route. But the first route is always the longest route. You can't really, yeah, the first route is usually the longest route. I think from what I remember with Chaos Child, everything's like, 4 hours usually. Okay, sound work. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, we're good. Yeah, for audio though, I got new tubes for my amplifier. I gotta test that tomorrow. I'm gonna test the leatherheads versus the onkyos. Yasuji-ban was walking through a narrow, filthy alleyway in Maruyamacho. He jammed a hand in his pocket. He checked, making sure there were a dozen or so coins inside.
先輩、貼り付けの現場に何があるって言うんすか？もう事件から2週間以上経ってるし、散々調べられた後っすよ。
This is 30 ohms.
新しい証拠なんて出てきませんって。
I give myself more power, see what happened. His partner, Detective Suwa, was walking behind him, complaining in an irritated voice. It was only natural that Suwa would be upset. The job they'd been given was to tell Takumi Nishijo, a person of interest in the NewGen murder cases. But right now, they were ignoring that job and coming to visit the scene of the third NewGen case, Crucified. Dude, they never, what? They didn't ever clean up the murders. Ban had left the job of telling Takumi Nishijo to summon the local cops without bothering to tell the rest of the force he'd done so. From the perspective of a rookie like Suwa, that was reckless and crazy.
やっぱまずいっすよ。尾行に戻りましょう。
Ban had dragged him out here without any explanation. Of course he was upset. I got something stuck in my throat. But he'd been trying to persuade Ban to turn back for a while now, but... Ban completely ignored the rookie protest and didn't seem the slightest bit concerned. Before long, they reached a narrow roadblock off by yellow tape. As Suwa sighed again, seemingly for the 100th time, that day his phone buzzed. He took it out, and the look at his face quickly returning to that of a young, capable detective before he pressed the button to answer.
すわっす。はい。はい。
Ban stopped him in front of the tape as he listened to Suwa talking behind him. Past the tape was the crime scene. The place was dark, just like it had been during the time of the crime. Except for the tape, there was nothing to indicate that anything had ever happened.
見失った？女か。やられたっすね。とりあえず、深センの家に戻ってほしいっす。
Gotta get some water already. I had noodles earlier for lunch.
はい。張り込んでてください。
I think the noodle juice is stuck in my throat.
いやいや、大丈夫っすよ。責任はバン警部補が取るっすから。
Ban chuckled a little when he heard that. Suwa was cleverer than he looked. Of course, Ban had no intention of letting Suwa or the locals take the fall for him.
なるべく早くこっちも合流します。本当申し訳ないっす。お願いします。
Suwa hung up the phone and glared at him, just about the same time as Ban ducked under the tape. Suwa followed, reluctantly.
見失ったって？
尾行に気づかれたっす。直前にネットカフェで人騒動あったみたいっすし。
女っての？
岸本綾瀬っす。
Kishimoto?
お騒がせバンドの嬢ちゃんかな。つながりは？
同じ学校の同じ学年っすね。 他は今のところ特にクラスメートでもないっす。
Ben ran his hand through his stubble, enjoying the sensation for just a moment. Then he took out the coins from his pocket and began to count them in the darkness. Suo watched his partner's strange behavior, his mouth hanging open.
何してるんすか？
よりによって5円玉だけありゃしね。そう、お前5円玉持ってねえか？
はあ。
Suo handed the 5 yen coin over with a confused look on his face. But instead of taking it for some reason, Ben ripped off the bottom button of his dress shirt. Then he began to unravel the string wrapped around it.
先輩、ついに頭おかしくなったんすか？
生意気な口聞くようになったじゃねえか。
Ben chuckled and lightly punched him on the forehead. Then he took the 5 yen coin and ran the string through the hole in the middle.
よし、お前にやらせてやるよ。
Ben pinched both ends of the string with his fingers, hanging the 5 yen coin between them, and gave it back to his younger partner.
振り子っすか？
ああ、
Ben laughed mischievously.
こいつが事件の重要なヒントを与えてくれるかもしれないね。
マジっすか？バンさん、勘弁してほしいっすよ。そのために仕事をほっぽってここまで来たんすか？
Suo sounded like he was on the verge of tears. Ben had dragged him on a lot of wild goose chases, but this was the worst of the lot.
サイキック操作とかダウジングとか
Dowsing. Let's see. I didn't know that. I thought that was a Pokemon.
その手のテレビでも見て影響を受けたんすね、先輩。
そういうお前も詳しいじゃねえの。
いや、まあ自分も見たは見たっすよ。先週のユーリ・ブライトマン。
ユーリ・ブライトマンっすよ。今話題になってるアメリカの超能力捜査官っす。I never heard of this, bruh. What? Psychic investigator.
俺が見たのはそんなチンチンしたもんじゃねえや。どこかのお偉い大学教授が出ててだな。
でもテレビっすよね。
ちいち文句の多いやつだ。やってみりゃわかる。ほら、いいから吊るしてみろって。
Man had seniority, so Suo had no choice but to obey. He frowned and pouted, but he did take the 5 yen coin. Then he pinched the ends of the string and let the coin move in a circle. It was too dark to see, so Ben flipped out a 100 yen lighter and struck it to give him some light.
先輩ってタバコ吸いましたっけ
10年以上前に禁煙したや。なんでだ。
ライター持ってたっすから。
こういうこともあろうかと用意しといたんだよ。
はは。で、これで何がわかるんす？
もっといろいろ動かしたり止めたりしてみろ。
Ben was staring at the movement of the 5 yen coin intently. He looked so serious that Suo found himself unable to complain anymore.
やっぱりな。スワ、わかるか？
何がっす
5円玉の動きだよ。
Oh
さっ
fuck,
き
what
か
the
ら
hell?
少しだけ楕円を描いてるような気がしねえか？
Hey, this visual novel is tight. What? The coin was moving slightly in a circular motion, held up by the strung. Suo looked at it, a little confused.
力の入れ方とかじゃないんすかね。
お前楕円に回るように意識してやってんのか？
いや、結構適当にくるくると。
もっと手を動かさねえようにやってろ。
はあ。
Suo tried his hardest to make it move in a circle, but no matter how many times he tried, it kept tracing out an ellipse.
意識的に違う形にしようとしてもできねえだろ。
Ban grinned. Suo, however, seemed unsatisfied and kept trying to spin the coin.
まあ、渋谷のどこでもこの現象が見られるわけじゃねえが、それでも十数箇所はここみてえな場所があるらしいぜ。
確かに不思議っすね。でもだから何なんす？
Ban looked up with a satisfied smile, putting the lighter in his pocket and taking the fan out from his belt.
お前、渋谷がなんでここまで若者を引きつけるか知ってるか
5円玉が楕円を描くからっすか？
Suo meant it as a joke, but Ban calmly waved his fan and nodded.
まあ、そういうことだ。
That didn't tell me shit. Whoa, I forgot this happened.
この渋谷という場所は
Alright. Oh, my
若
bad.
者たちをこんなにも引きつけると思う。
You already know. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. I paid $5 for this. Actually, I got this for free, but that means DLC. Fest began to talk about something completely different. Internally, I was relieved. I thought she'd treat me like I was a pervert, but instead, she just ignored all that. Damn, it didn't work.
いい世界を見渡してみて、こんな場所他になかなかないわ。
Did that have something to do with the D sword? If not, I didn't care. I needed Fest to tell me how to get a real D sword.
新宿でも池袋でもなくて渋谷。この松の名前が一人歩きをしてしまうくらい。
The two Fesses were speaking to me simultaneously, one in front of me and one in back. They were in perfect sync. Listening to them made me feel kind of strange. Why is she in a swimsuit? Because I imagined her in a swimsuit. That's why. This is they're getting into that part why she's in the swimsuit. Maybe Fest has split. Maybe one of them was real and the other wasn't. Or maybe both were fake.
日本中の人たちに刻まれている若者の街という記号。なぜかしら。
Why? Well, I didn't care.
ファッションの街だから。お店がたくさんあるから。流行の発信地だから。よくテレビに映るから。交通の便がいいから。違うわ。どれ。
The two Fesses paused for a moment. I felt awkward, with the Fest watching me both in the front and the back.
大いなる意志。工事存在。もっとわかりやすく言え。神意志な。
Kami. Oh no, could this be? Was I being recruited for some kind of weird cult? I started to panic. I wasn't sure if I should run. But when she said her next words, that ceased to be an option.
理想だもまた。その意志による導きを。
And transition back to the
引
detective.
力ってあるだろ？
Ban headed out of the narrow street and back towards Shibuya Station. Suo had been sure they were going to Shinsen, so he looked confused as he followed. One? Okay, we're good.
万有引力のことっすか？
Fuck. What's this? Physical law discovered by Newton. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I know this shit. You see? Okay. I didn't know that was a myth. The apple.
よく知ってるじゃねえの。さすがいい大学出てるだけあるな。
I learned that in college too. I need to taught me that in high school, but I feel like I learned that more in college. I forgot why. Ben grinned, but Sua just looked annoyed.
あいにく大学じゃオカルトは勉強しなかったっすけどね。
オカルトじゃねえよ。世界には引力がアンバランス化してる地域ってのが何か所かある。
アンバランス化ですか。
振り子が楕円を描いたのもその影響ってこった。G レートって呼ぶらしい。
GE レート。
ああ、正式名称は何だっつってたかな。グルバケーショングラリッシュエラ
What? What are you trying to say?
引力ならグラビテーションじゃないですか。
Damn, he said it better.
グラビテーションエラーレート。
おー、そうだ。グラビテーションエラーレート。
直訳すると万有引力の異常値ですか。
You know 100%, bruh. Whoever wrote this is a chuny. Whoever wrote Steingeist, it's a little bit of a chuny too. But I feel like with Chaos Head and Child, that dude's a super chuny. He gave them D swords.
乗ってたっすかね。
Gravitation at a rate. The rate at which universal gravitation is unbalanced. Universal gravitation was a basic natural force discovered by Isaac Newton. It was a force that worked on both matter and energy. The layers of geologic strata below the Earth's surface were said to have a huge effect on it. Layers of volcanic rocks beneath the Earth, for example, were known for screwing up magnetic fields. That was why, for instance, compasses wouldn't work in the Aokigahara forest at the base of Mount Fuji. The fossil layer would be another example. It would contain large amounts of iron and calcium, and researchers showed that these could reflect magnesium. And magnetite, especially, was known for its effect on gravity. Let me see. Type of ore. Magnetite was a naturally occurring magnet, which octahedral crystals. If enough of it were ever to be found in a single place that would exist as a geologic dike, it would be as if the surface of the world itself had turned into a magnet and would likely have a slight effect on the gravity in the area. You could take the effect of those geological factors had on the gravitational balance of an area and turn it into a number. That number was its GE rate. By the time Ben finished his explanation, the two of them were out on one of the biggest streets of Dongenzaka. The whole area suddenly seemed much brighter.
渋谷の平均 GE レートは世界でもトップクラスらしいぜ。地面に置いたボールが一人でに坂を登っていくようなケースもあるらしい。
Is this true?
マジっすか？
Suo had been quietly listening until now, but his reaction was a little overdramatic.
まるで SF 映画の世界っすね。
They call it sci-fi.
お前の
I like that.
自分は小難しいのは嫌いっすよ。壮大なスケールの映画がいいっす。
Well, you like aliens.
知らねえよ。
先輩の説明はすごくもっともらしいっすけど、なかなか信じられないっすよ。GE レートなんて聞いたこともないっすし。
てめえの無知を一般論として語るな。デカに必要なのは事実を客観視することだね。
はあ。でも。
Sue was right. G and rate were a minor field of study, and not something you ever learn in a typical college curriculum. Ben had only found out about them a few weeks ago.
そもそもまだ肝心の答えを聞いてないっすよ。渋谷の重力がアンバランスだとなんで若者が引きつけられるんですか？
引力と人間ってのは意外と因果関係があるってことだよ。お前、生き物のバイオリズムは月の引力に関係してるっての知ってたか？潮の満ち引きだけじゃねえんだぜ。
Yo, fucking head scratcher. What?
ウミガメの産卵には月の影響があるらしいってのはどっかで耳にしたことがあるっす。
ああ、必ず満月の夜に産卵するってやつだな。
That's pretty interesting. I didn't know
だ
that.
がウミガメだけじゃねえ。他に有名なのだとサンゴが産卵するのも満月の夜だ。
ああ、海の中が雪降ってるみたいになるやつですね。
Wow, what?
満月の夜は引力も強くなってるって科学的に実証されてんだ。当然人間にもその影響は及んでる。
人の出産にもってことっすか？
What?
出産だけじゃねえよ。バイオリズムって言ったろ。普通の生理現象はもちろん交通事故や事件、病気、食欲とか性欲とかにも密接なつながりがある。興奮すると頭に血が上ってるっていうだろう。あれは月の引力に引っ張られてるんだよ。
そりゃ極論だと思うっすよ。まるで個々の感情なんて関係なくて全部月のせいだって言ってるようなもんじゃないですか。
そこまでは言わねえがな。集団心理って言うだろ。この町に来た途端に楽しい気分になったりちょっと無茶したくなったりするかもしんねえんじゃねえの。ニュージェネの一連の事件に対する反応だってそうだ。この町でそのニュースを見た連中は大抵反応が同じだ。どいつもこいつも楽しんでやがる。自分だけは被害者にならないって気持ちだ。
What the hell?
対岸の火事を眺めていい気になってる。
1, 2, 3. Dang, bro. My computer been acting a little bit weird lately.
そう
I don't know
いう
what it
集団
is.
心理も GE レートのせいってことっすか？
可能性としてはありだろう。渋谷に来たら楽しい気分になるってのが若いやつらの頭の中に無意識に刷り込まれれば。
若者がこの街に惹かれる理由になるってわけですね。
Ben was impressed. Suo was a quick learner. He was still young, but he was good at this stuff. But what made him different from the other kids was that he didn't just blindly follow his partner's orders. If something seemed wrong or if he had questions, he'd speak up.
GE レートについては一応分かったっすけど、それでどうやって犯人を探すんですか？もし GE レートに影響されて今回みたいな事件が起きたってなら何百年も前から似たようなことが起きてないと変なんだよ。
そいつはこれから調べりゃいいさ。専門家だな。
先輩は調べないんですか？
俺はデカだぞ。
I know who's coming next. Ben grinned.
調べるのはニュージェネのことだけだ。そのために今日はわざわざ仕事サボって現場の GE レートを測ったんだ。もしこれまでの一連の現場の GE レートが異常を示したなら何を意味すると思う？
まさか。
Suo's eyes went wide, and he stopped in his tracks. He seemed to have noticed what Ben was leading him toward.
事件は GE レートが異常を示している場所で起こるってことっすか？だとしたら次の事件が起こる場所をある程度予測できるんですね。
まだそう決まったわけじゃねえよ。それをこれから調べんだ。
That was something in the sound. Something unknown, lurking behind the glamour and lights. Maybe it was Pandora box, which nobody should ever open. I remember this. Hope. That's what Ben thought as he watched people come and go down the street. What the
理想
fuck?
論は
Oh, God.
その意志による導き
Oh, yeah. Put some clothes on. Shit's too distracting. God damn it. I forgot her lingerie is really lewd. That was enough to make me finally snap. Fests have been continually changing the subject, talking about things that didn't matter at all. The Great Rule, the reason young people came to Shibuya, I wasn't interested in those things at all. There was only one thing I wanted to know.
ディソードはどうすれば手に入る
I worked up my courage to ask.
教えてよ
Fest's expression of Inua stayed unchanged as she looked down at her own D sword. It was such a huge sword, but she seemed to carry it like it weighed nothing. It occurred to me that Fest might be incredibly strong.
教えられることじゃないわ
なんて
After all that crap she made me listen to, she wasn't going to tell me the most important thing? What the hell?
見つけなくちゃいけない自分自身方法なんて私には分からない
She didn't know. So how did she get the one in her hands?
ただ理想度は力を持つ人の目にしか映らない
So people who didn't have the power couldn't see it. I could see it quite clearly. What did she mean by the power? Did she mean that I had superpowers too? Like the two Fesses with me?
君には私の剣が見えているでしょそれが意味するの一つだけ
If having the power is why you and Shogun were coming after me, then I didn't even want it. But I still wanted a D sword. Fess said that having it would save me. The Great Will, the reason young people came to Shibuya, those things didn't matter to me. I didn't need any power. I didn't want any trouble. But the sword, I needed the sword to protect me from Yua and Shogun.
感じて世界を選択した意志
But Fest's answer was vague. It was hard to understand. I bit my lip trying to figure out how to get more information out of her. But I could barely talk to 3D girls even on a good day. Trying to figure out a way to get information out of one was beyond me. I tried to think back through the H games I played to see if they give me any ideas, but need to slip her an aphrodisiac, tie her up, or lock her in the basement seemed like a good choice. What the fuck, dude? Wait a minute! What the fuck's that first choice? Slip her what? Oh man. Tie her up? Lock her in the basement? What kind of H games are he? What kind of H game did he play? Man, I just realized that I might be a piece of shit. At least he's aware.
君名前は
Fest had turned away from me and was walking deep into the tunnel.
私は岸本綾瀬
Only then did I realize I hadn't introduced ourselves to each other.
西条匠
Fest, ISA, had her back to me so I couldn't see the look on her face. I couldn't tell why she laughed.
また会いましょう匠
I'm not gonna lie. ISA. That's her name, right? How you do this game? Triangle. Yeah, ISA. I think she might be my favorite girl, bruh. Out of all of them, ISA's the coolest one. Well, I meant like a different kind of cool. I like her a lot. ISA got further and further away. I turned around, a little afraid to look at what the other ISA was doing. and she was gone entirely. Whether she literally disappeared or just walked out of the tunnel, I couldn't tell. Ayase had said that she was a delusion. What was the power of a D-sword? I looked back down the tunnel. There was another staircase 50 meters down the tunnel. Ayase was walking up it. Before long, she was entirely gone from view. I was left alone with the silence of an eerie tunnel. I didn't have the courage to yell at her, and I was too tired and lazy to run after her. In the end, all I could do was go back home and try my best to make sure Yua and the police didn't find me. Then he changed his figurines again. It used to be, who used to be up there? Saber was on the right side, but she's not there anymore, obviously. I forgot he used to be up there, but now he has Arc from Tsukihime up there. It felt like a long time ago since I had been back to the base. In fact, though, I only been gone for 12 hours. The PC was still on, and my Setaton screensaver was smiling into the dark room. I made sure to carefully lock the door from the inside, and then threw myself on the sofa. When I closed my eyes, all the things that had happened to me today came flooding back. I couldn't believe the cops thought I was the killer. They were totally wrong. There was no way I could kill anybody, right? Do your jobs, damn it. This isn't a game. I bet they were just coming after me because I was a crappy, creepy otaku. Otaku had low social status. Nobody would complain if the one was made out to be the killer. They weren't making any progress finding the real killer, so they wanted to make me out to be the scapegoat. Damn it. How was I supposed to clear my name? The event at Cafe came back to me, and I shivered. There was somebody even scarier than the police out there. Yua was my enemy. I let my guard down because I hadn't seen her for a while. I thought she was just going to leave me alone. But today, I realized my mistake. I needed a D-sword to fight these people. I looked over at the cheap sword next to my computer. It was a fake. According to Ayase, only those with power could see a real one. But Nanami had been able to see mine on the day I bought it. And unlike Ayase and Senna's, my sword didn't glow. What was the real sword? I needed it as soon as I could get it. Otherwise, I was doomed. I was so sick of all this awful stuff that kept happening to me.
あなたは DID 多重人格なんです。
No, that's not true. It's impossible. They say multiple personality disorder is really rare in Japan, don't they? You just saw too many movies and read too many novels. I didn't have multiple personality. There was no evidence anywhere.
違う。あれは違う。
But it won't explain that chat log.
あんなの捏造だ。証拠にはならない。
And there's no evidence that I don't have multiple personalities either.
先生は僕を多重人格だなんて診断しなかった。
But then Dr. Takashina vanished right after that for no good reason.
僕は僕だ。僕が一番よく知ってる。
But I wasn't sure who I was. Suddenly, I felt a prickling on the back of my neck. The same as always, someone's gaze watching me. Whose eyes are those?
そうだ。将軍だ。あいつが犯人だ。チャットログにもそう書いてあったじゃないか。ユアは将軍の手下だし、ニュージェネ事件だって全部将軍が。
But did Shogun even really exist? How did I know that he wasn't just a delusion?
僕はまともだ。まともなんだ。そうでしょ。
I don't know, man. If you talk to yourself like this, are you sane? I held my head in my hands and screamed down in an empty room. An answer came from
メールだよ。ボケなす。
Seta? I slowly walked over to my PC and opened the email. It was from Grim. The subject was found something cool. It was probably more Gudo or some mental browser crash images. I didn't have time to deal with his trolling, but I decided I'd at least read it. A video of the NewGen murder taken by the killer? My fingers were shaking on top of the mouse. I couldn't take my eyes off the text. Did it show who the killer was? Who was it? Was it me? Part of me wanted to see it, and part of me firmly resisted. This would be proof. Proof I wasn't the killer. Or maybe proof that I was. I didn't know which it would be. It was like gambling in a way. I felt like my heart began to race as I moved my mouse cursor toward the link, but I couldn't work up the courage to click it.
私あなたを助けたい
Shut up! Don't treat me like I'm the killer. Don't try to have sympathy for me. I didn't do it. You're the one that's working for the killer. Anger boiling within me, I clicked on the link. I opened a Mewtwo page. The video window read loading.
僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない
The video only took 10 seconds to load, but to me those 10 seconds felt like an eternity. Eventually the loading ended and the video began to play. It was showing someplace very dark. The background was totally black. Was that indoors somewhere? Maybe? I brought my face close up to the monitor to see if I could make out any details. It was dark and hard to tell, but there seemed to be several boys and girls there. They were all talking really loudly. Maybe it was the low audio bitrate of the video, or maybe it was the way they were all so excited, but I couldn't make out what they were saying at all. Sometimes they would scream violently, and the static from the low quality mic would be awful. After watching a while, I could tell that there were 5 people there, 6 if you include the cameraman. The cameraman was carefully staying out of frame. It was hard to make out the faces of the others in the darkness too. They seemed to be cheering each other, rubbing each other's foreheads, giving out friendly pats on the backs and hugs. The girls seemed to be crying with joy and loud voices too. It was a strange scene, sure, but what did it have to do with meeting NewGen? Was there really the NewGen killer who was filming this? If nothing else, I didn't remember doing it. After a short while, the person holding the camera began slowly to move forward. The 5 people in the shot, originally about 5 meters away, began to loom larger in the frame. The video resolution was very low. Maybe they dropped the bitrate down as low as they could go during encoding, to keep the file size as low as possible. Cameras these days had night mode on them. Why wasn't the cameraman using it? Maybe it was an old camera. Suddenly the camera panned from left to right, showing the surrounding area. What I thought was a black background was actually the night sky. This video was being filmed outside. The reason I hadn't seen any buildings was because they were on top of a skyscraper. The 5 boys and girls were standing right on the edge of the tall skyscraper. Behind them was a sheer drop. You could see the lights of the Shibuya spreading out from below. Finally, I understood. I knew what this footage meant. I knew why Graham said the NewGen killer had to have taken it.
集団だいぶ
The kids with 5 boys and girls had jumped off the locked roof of Cornelius Tower. The one NewGen case where they weren't sure if it was suicide or a murder. If this video showed the 5 who died in the jump, then that would mean a 6th person was there when it happened. I've been wrong about what they were doing. They were all crouching on the ground, clinging together and crying. They all seemed to know they were about to die, and they couldn't accept it. One was shaking their head no, over and over. One on their knees, sobbing and ripping out their hair. One was screaming at the cameraman, demanding to know why they were doing this. One had already gone crazy and was crying while they laughed. What I saw was a violent desire for life, and a powerful wish to not die, and a helpless fury of an unfair situation they were in. But that was strange was, the cameraman's voice wasn't in the video at all. The person recording the video was almost eerily calm.
やめろやめろ
The video was close to a month old. Nothing I said now would change it. I knew it was meaningless, but I still couldn't help but scream at the monitor.
こいつらみんな死にたくなんかないんだぞ。
But of course, my words went unheard, and the person holding the camera kept walking toward the five of them. They began to crawl away from the camera in fear. But it didn't matter. The edge of the heliports was right behind them. There wasn't any kind of safety fence. There was nowhere to run for the five of them. Another step back and they fall. The camera slowly kept going forward, instead of taunting them, oblivious to their cries. But even as they got close, whoever was holding it did nothing but move forward. Then suddenly, all five fell silent. They didn't make any motion toward each other, and nothing happened to cause it. But they all fell silent at the exact same moment they stood up. The wind on top of Cornelius' tower was strong. It threatened to knock them over. If they slipped, they fall. But then they all took each other's hand, as if in resignation. Their hands clasped tightly with one another.
よせ。やめろ。謝るな。
Silence. Even the sound of blowing wind felt like it had stopped. The only thing I could hear was the sound of the cars traveling on the highway below the skyscraper. The cameraman still didn't do a thing. And then, one of the five, ever so softly, whispered.
その目誰の目？
I froze in front of the monitor, as if a cold hand had reached into my chest and grabbed my heart.
なんでまたその言葉なんだよ。
Oh, he's so pissed, bro. This was the first NewGen case, right? Why had this boy suddenly said, "Whose eyes are those?" That was the dying message in the fourth case, the vampire incident. This made no sense. The video continued, oblivious to my screams. The five of them slowly stepped off the edge, as if there was a path waiting for them there. And then they fell off into the darkness of the city sky. I bit my lips and covered my eyes. Group dive was in the suicide. This was murder. The killer was right there when it happened. And who was the cameraman? I knew the answer. Muffled by the strong wind on the roof, hidden by the sounds of the screaming and crying, and between the bursts of car horns in the highway below, there was another sound that I could just barely hear. It was the sound of creaking metal. The sound that I only heard when the cameraman moved forward. Oh, I thought that was Takumi. I thought it was Takumi moving his chair. The sound of a wheelchair.
あの時、僕の前に現れたのは現実だったんだね。カメラの目線が低すぎだよ。将軍。
Okay. Chapter 4. D sword. He didn't even get his D sword yet. Delusions. The news about the leaked video of the group dive quickly became a huge deal, of course. The net was, like Grim said, in an uproar. A lot of people on Action was saying that this proved that all the 4 NewGen murders were committed by the same person. Let's see. What the fuck? The eyes. What the fuck is these emos? Is that an ear? What's that supposed to be? Hold on. I saw the video and it looked like fake bullshit to me. That shit was fake. Fake news. It's always one of those guys. I didn't even read their usernames. Low income. Cut it the hell out. Nice translations. The TV news was just as exciting. 140 was right. All the non-government run TV stations, except the TVTK, had done specials on it, and they've been showing the video non-stop. None of the specials were longer than an hour, but the fact that the video was broadcast all over the country was shocking. Of course, all the stations cut the last part where they actually jumped, but the effect it had was incredible. Excuse. The TV commentators were saying more or less the same thing as the internet, that all 4 of the NewGen cases were the work of the same killer. It was inevitable that they say that. At last, the NewGen cases had something in common. Whose eyes are those? The phrase that was so popular in Shibuya right now. It had originally been thought of those words only appeared during the 4th incident, the vampire case. But one of the victims in the group dive said the phrase as well, despite it taking place over a month before the vampire. Now, out of the 4 murders, it appeared in 2, the first 2 and the most recent one, which meant it was probably the same person responsible for all 4. The police held an emergency press conference to announce that they were doing everything they could to find the uploader of the video. A few politicians issued statements expressing their anger and sorrow, and demanding that the killer be caught immediately. The video was deleted by YouTube administrators less than 3 hours after upload, but it was too late. Ad channels everywhere had downloaded already, and nobody could stop it from being spread now. And then late that night, the police made their next announcement. The video of the group dive incident was uploaded from a manga cafe named At Cafe, specifically the PC in room 37. Oh fuck, that's his room, huh? Damn it. Now you can't go there anymore. I sat in my seat and leaned forward, my head pressed against my arms. I've been listening in on the conversation around me without even realizing what I was doing so. Today I was feeling really sensitive towards other people's voices. After listening to a few conversations, I realized that everybody was talking about the group dive, just like I thought they would be. Some of the girls were even saying, "Whose eyes are those?" as a joke. I bit my lips and stared down at my desk. That video was proof. Proof that Shogun was real. Proof that I wasn't the killer. So I didn't have multiple personalities. The old man in the wheelchair was the NewGen killer. But why had Shogun uploaded the video? Nobody had any clues to the identity of the killer. Why would he reveal himself now? I thought about it and come to 2 possible conclusions. The first was that Shogun may have just wanted attention and recognition for his crimes. Given how he showed himself to me, that seemed likely. The other was, as a challenge to me. For some reason, Shogun and his servant Yua were after me. I didn't know why, but they almost succeeded in making me out the NewGen killer. The police might still suspect me. Shogun was trying to trap me even now.
僕のメッセージは受け取ってくれた？目覚めるんだ。早く。でないと、もっとたくさんの人が死んじゃうことになるから。忘れないで。君は逃げちゃいけない。
That's what the Shogun I seen had said. As near as I could tell, what he meant to say was, "I'm going to kill you, so don't run away." It was a threat. And now he uploaded a video for all of Japan to see. he was escalating things. He must have moved to the next stage of his plans. But it would be naive to think this meant he'd given up on me. I should assume that his attacks and plots were going to get worse. I was scared. That video was terrifying. Shogun was weaker and frailer than even I was. But he killed 5 teenagers without even laying a finger on them. If he was behind all of the NewGen killings, that would mean that even the pregnant man, crucified, and vampire were all done by his hand, despite his tiny, frail body. Or maybe Yua had help. Either way, I didn't have any hopes of protecting myself from people who could do something like that. I felt anger at being chosen as their target so arbitrarily, but I also felt afraid of them. And then, whose eyes are those? That was the message too. Takumi! He said Shogun's behind Crucified. Takumi, you saw what happened at Crucified. Did he forget about, I forgot her name. My bad. The pink hair girl. Did he forget about her already? Whenever I let my guard down for a moment, my body started to shiver. Is it because she gave him a hug? So he forgave her? That's probably what happened. I had to stay tense at all times if I was going to keep myself from losing control. I kept a close eye on my surroundings and made sure I was ready to run if somebody approached. Shogun, or maybe Yua, could appear at any moment. It was entirely possible that Shogun had more servants than just Yua, after all. Maybe some of my classmates. The kids who were laughing and chatting around me right now were under his influence too. I had to avoid being caught off guard, like I was at Cafe yesterday. Otherwise, this time, I'd be killed. I need to find that D-sword. If I want to get out of this alive, I need that D-sword. After talking to ISA and Senna, and looking on the internet, I was getting more and more sure of it. If I could get the D-sword, I'd be safe. While I was watching things unfold on the internet last night, I also been doing everything I could to find information on the D-sword. I got to nowhere. I moved my hands up to my head and tore at my greasy hair. How the hell was I supposed to get the D-sword?
見つけなくちゃいけない。自分自身で。方法なんて私には分からないの。
That's what ISA had said, but I didn't even have a hint as to where to start. It wasn't fair. I was getting more and more scared, and I wasn't making any progress. The fear was crushing me. I had to find it. I had to find the D-sword fast. I needed the D-sword, no matter what. Gotta find it, or it's over. I had to find it before I become the victim of the next NewGen case. But find it how? I don't even know where to start. There has to be a hint, some kind of hint. If I don't hurry, I'll lose my chance. Can I find it? I didn't have time to be here at school. My life, my graduating school. There was no question which one was more important. So why was I? Then I heard somebody getting close to my seat. I tensed up, jerking my head upwards. It was Rimi. That's her name. Then, Takumi, what the fuck, bruh? You forgive her? You saw it with your 2 eyes. You saw her did the crucified murder. We, as the viewer, probably suspect she didn't do it. Takumi was probably going crazy. And that's because the detective did mention the crucified killing had no blood. Yet when Takumi saw it, it was bloody, right? And she was covered in blood. So that 2 information conflict each other. But the thing is, Takumi doesn't know that. So, what the hell, bruh? It was Rimi. She was standing there, blinking in surprise at my sudden movement. You're the one that surprised me. Don't scare me like that. I relaxed, sighed, and dropped my head back on the desk. She peered over me like she always did. I quickly looked away. Been crying all day. Was Rimi on my side? Oh, she was my enemy. I think she saved me once. I was a lot less cautious of around her. But that meant I was also just ignoring all the things that made me suspect her in the first place. Why did I see her covered in blood? See, there you go. See, I was... you know what, Taku? Yeah, I'm not going to make her naked. Alright, just a little bit. I don't think we saw her naked yet. Oh shit, she wears pink. I like her floral design. It's pretty dang cute. Okay, we did saw her naked. I remember those. Why did I see her covered in blood during the crucified murder? If she and I were friends since my first year of school, why didn't I remember it?
タク、体調悪いの？
Rimi looked a little concerned.
なんでもない。
Dang, he's so fucking sad. This has to be one of the saddest main characters I ever read. I like that. It's rare, bruh. That's what I want. That's what I want in a psychological horror, bruh. I don't want him to be fucking happy. You don't deserve to be happy. This is a psychological horror. I want you to be scared. I want you to question yourself. I want you to be miserable. Yeah, it's just entertainment, right? I turned my head away from her. There was no way I could ask her any of those questions to her face. It's like asking to have a happy character in a horror film. Why you want that, bro? You want characters you hate in a horror film. That way when they die, it won't hurt that much. When the day's classes finally ended, I was mentally exhausted. Even during class, I've been ignoring the lecture and constantly keeping an eye on my surroundings. I hadn't slept since yesterday, but I felt so tense that I was actually more alert than usual. The school days seemed to drag on for eternity, and the longer it went, the more miserable I felt. Why did time seem to pass so much slower or faster depending on your mental state? They say time flows at the same rate for everybody, but there's no way that's true. Time is subjective. If you ask me, the things like hours and minutes were just somebody's secret conspiracy to hide that subjectivity, to make everyone think it was the same. And if time flows with subjective, didn't that imply you could control it too? I only thought of that because of what Senna said about controlling other people's will. I like Senna too. Senna and ISA so far is my favorite characters. Nanami's pretty good. I give you that. You gotta admit, Nanami's pretty good too. Nimi's pretty good. I like Rimi. She's getting around there. Who's the only girl we haven't seen? Well, Yua. I'm sure she's pretty good too, but she probably want to show a good sign when she has a route. When we do her route. And then there's that other girl. I forgot her name already. Didn't that imply...
生まれながらに目が不自由な人でも目の前にある景色がちゃんと見えるようになる。
Wait, what?
ビデオカメラのような映像機器を介してね。
They can see what's on there. If you could take the image recorded by the video camera, turn it into electrical pulses, and send it to the brain, and that could be understood. Didn't that imply that you could also take the images in the mind and turn them into electrical signals too, and send them in some kind of device to be turned into video? Oh my god. I guess you can though, right? Because if you could turn analog sounds into digital sounds, and then when people play them, it turned to digital sounds back to analog sounds, why can't that happen on the video as well? There's no need for the signals to be coming from a video camera anyway. For example, what if you hooked up a hard drive with a recording of a travel program? Or what if it wasn't a travel program, but an anime? An anime just a delusion. It's 2D. But somebody born blind would never even seen 3D images. If you told them that this was the world looked like Would they believe the 2D world was real? Wouldn't that mean, for their perspective, that a delusion was real? Oh shit. For example, let's say that somebody we'll call A has an image in their brain. You could send it to a hard drive and then turn it into a video and then broadcast it into B's brain. Then A's delusion becomes B reality. Their delusion would become real. It would be theatrically impossible. I meant possible, right? Whoa, lol. I'm a genius, lol. I became incredibly excited by my own idea. Maybe this was the key to getting a D-sword. ISA has said a D-sword was a delusion after all. Okay, time to head home and look it up online. Sorry, Takumi, you're not going home. You're gonna lose an arm for my entertainment. I left the classroom, headed to the front entrance of the school. But on the way there, I changed my mind and headed back to the building where the first year students were. It felt like I'd do better to avoid the main gate. That was a chance Shogun or Yua might be waiting for me there. I decided to leave by another route. I used a connecting corridor that led to the first year student buildings. The bell had rung a little while ago, so the only kids left around were the ones on cleaning duty or in the clubs on sports team. There was something slightly lonely and nostalgic about a school after the last bell rang. It didn't matter if it was an old wooden school or a new one like Suimei Academy. Not that I'd ever been to the old wooden outside of an H game. No comment. Either way, the school was quiet. I walked as quickly and quietly as I could through the silence. The setting sun felt warm through the window. Normally I walk with my head down, but there was no other students around me, so I walked with my head held up, alert, watching for anybody suspicious. I could hear a sound. What was it? It felt like I heard it somewhere before. Then I saw something pass across my vision and down the corridor at the end of the hallway. It was an empty wheelchair. Images of the group dive I seen yesterday came into my mind. I felt a chill run down my spine and froze. The wheelchair vanished from my vision. And then I heard an incredibly loud noise. The silence returned. I held my breath and stared in the direction the sound seemed to have come from. What did I just see? Why was there a wheelchair at school? Oh, and why hasn't anybody sitting in it? That last noise was probably the sound of the wheelchair probably falling down the stairs. If it was that loud, the chair was probably broken into pieces now. I looked around. You know, the quiet suddenly seemed eerie. Off topic. Dang, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me that I need to read Survival Club or whatever it's called, Survivor School. I heard the manga ended, so I want to know what happened at the end. The last time I read that manga, they I guess I don't want to spoil, but I got him pretty far, where they added another additional character that wasn't in the anime. I got to that part, and then I got real sad, and then I just waited for the chapters to update it, but it took too long, so I just forgot about it. From where I was standing, at least, I couldn't see anything moving, but I could feel a gaze. Don't look at me. Was Shogun here? Was he at the school? Why? To meet with Yua? To find me? I took a step back. When I did, I almost fell backwards. I somehow managed to retain my balance. I felt cold and clammy. Was this some kind of prank? Why wouldn't they show themselves? I feel better if they actually just showed up. I suddenly felt like throwing up. I wanted to get out of here as soon as I could. I ran back the way I come, holding my hands over my mouth. By the time I made it to the stairs and into the courtyard, I couldn't hold it anymore. The second I dropped to my knees, the contents of my stomach came flooding up my throat. Oh! What the fuck, Takumi? Why? Then he was so nervous he threw up. Nasty motherfucker. Stomach acid stung my throat. My eyes blurry. It hurt to breathe. There was a disgusting taste left in my mouth from the vomit. I guess I was under a lot more stress than I thought I was. Maybe it was because I'd been up all night. Oh fuck, it's a CG of him. I wiped the edges of my mouth. As I looked around frantically, nobody was there. How you do this? Fuck, it's been a while since I played this. Oh, there you go. It's the O button. I don't see puke. You think that blurry thing might be puke? Maybe. They're all blurry though. But the blind spots and the shadows that I normally ignore now seem terrifying to me. I started to think that you or Shogun could be lurking anywhere. And once the idea was in my head, I couldn't take another step. Somebody help me. I wanted to cry, and the urge to vomit came back too. This time, I didn't throw up, but I coughed and gasped for air. It hurt so much that even more tears came. Then I felt a soft hand rubbing my back. I turned around, afraid. Who do you think it is? I knew it. She's always there for him, bruh. Rimi was there. What the fuck? I went with the red delusion. She wasn't asking me. She was gently telling me. She showed no sign of disgust at the smell of vomit, or the way my face was covered in snot and tears, with dried remain in my stomach's contents crushing the corners of my mouth. She had a gentle smile on her face, as if she was trying to make me feel better. She came up to me and rubbed my back gently. Why? When I wanted somebody to save me before, she appeared then too. Like a superhero coming to save the day. Why was it that having her around made me feel so much safer? Why did I feel so much better? The next thing I knew, I was spilling my guts out to her. Even though I hated talking about myself. Maybe that's why I come to school today. Until now, I always thought I was better off alone. Of course, I was still afraid of talking to anybody. I didn't think I had any hopes of being friends with them. But after everything I was going through with you and Shogun, I felt so scared and lonely. I wanted somebody to be by my side. I didn't even need them to be nice to me. I just needed them to be there. Damn. In her words, there was no malice, no hesitation. She smiled and suddenly looked up at the sky. What was she looking at? It felt like she was staring at something far off in the distance. But I almost sounded like you be my girlfriend. I was in shock. She was serious, at least, as near as I could tell from looking at her. Because this was leading where I thought it was, right? Her next words might be because I like you, right? Couldn't understand what about me she could possibly like though. No wait, there was a co-mate's trap, a clever trick to get me to let my guard down. It happened before, right? You had to see me and then betrayed me. I couldn't get my hopes up. I needed to imagine the worst case scenario. Rimi might be my enemy too. She suddenly saluted to me. I was caught off guard by her sudden action, and worried that she might suddenly be about to reveal her horrible true nature. but I could still see the gentle smile on her face.
そんなの友達だからに決まってるでしょ。
Damn, friend zone.
私にしてみればタクを助けてあげるのは当然なの。どうしてとか寂しいこと言わない。わかった？
うん。
Friends, huh? She said because you're my boyfriend. It might have felt like a whole new life for me was about to begin. And even if it was as friends, it made me so incredibly happy. Having someone else be nice to me, having someone do something for me without expecting a reward. I didn't realize how happy that would make me. Maybe it was something I never experienced before. But more than that, it made me feel like I wasn't alone. Rimi was my salvation. The urge to throw up finally subsided, and I felt a lot better.
はい。使う？
She offered me a red handkerchief that smelled like flowers. I took it, but I was hesitant to use it.
汚しちゃっていいよ。タクにあげる。
ありがとう。
I felt guilty, but at this point, I decided to just take advantage of anything she offered me. I wiped away the barf on the edge of my mouth. This was the first time a girl who wasn't in my family had given me a present. I wasn't sure if you could call it a present though. But for somebody who was totally alone, like me, even something small like this was an incredible treasure. The joy and sense of relief made me feel like I was going to cry again.
それじゃあ帰ろっか。
She smiled innocently.
一緒に。
What she just said about staying with me seemed, in her mind, to be a settled matter. I hadn't given an answer, but she didn't care. But of course, I didn't plan on saying no. I was afraid of being alone. I didn't want to be alone. Right now, Rimi was all I could rely on. Then what about ISA? ISA was pretty helpful. And, but that didn't mean that everything would be fine from now on. I still chose a different route home than usual, and I kept looking over my shoulder the whole way. Danger seemed to lurk in every shadow. Each time I came to an intersection, I had delusions of Yua and Shogun looking around the corner and froze up, unable to go forward. The Rimi would go ahead of me, looking down the street and turning back to give me a nod.
大丈夫。誰もいないよ。
I gave a sigh of relief and followed her. Rimi stayed with me, not seeming annoyed at all.
ねえ、聞いていいかな。一体何があったの？
I wasn't sure whether I could tell Rimi. If I told her and Shogun came after her too. If I told her and Shogun came after her too, that would be my fault.
話したくないなら無理に話さなくても。
いや、話すよ。
Got something stuck in my throat, but it's fine, I guess. I started to speak. I was reluctant to get her involved, sure, but if I didn't explain what was going on, she wouldn't understand how desperate my situation was. I decided to ignore the risk to her for the sake of helping myself. She was the one who told me she stayed by my side, so it was okay, right? I told her about Shogun, the one behind the NewGen murders, about her servant, his servant Yua. The two of them were after me. What had happened in front of 107? I kept tripping over my tongue, but I managed to get it all out. When I told her about Shogun, the man in the wheelchair, she frowned a little. That was the thing I wanted to ask her about the most. Now was the perfect chance to do it too.
いたかな。車椅子のおじいさんなんて。
She didn't sound very confident.
思い出して。
You better remember.
大切なことだ。
でも。
She paused, as if she was about to say something like, that was hard to say.
そもそもあの時渋谷の駅前が無人だったなんてことなかったよ。いつもと同じだった。
So she hadn't seen anything strange at all that night. I hope she'd tell me she's seen the same things I had. Rimi and I had seen different things. Which of us has seen what really happened? Was I just wrong? Was that empty Shibuya just a delusion of mine? But there was a problem then. That old man in the wheelchair in the empty Shibuya, Shogun. How could you explain him? If the empty Shibuya was just a delusion, Shogun might be a delusion too.
駅前って人が多いでしょ。だから車椅子の人がいてもなかなか気がつかないだろうし。要するに見てないってこと。
I never realized she got a ribbon in her hair.
ごめんね、役に立てなくて。
Shogun was in a delusion of mine. I was sure of that. I thought he might be at first, but my opinion of changed totally after I seen the video of the group dive. Shogun who taken that video was real. That was proof he existed. But the empty Shibuya could have been a delusion maybe. Shibuya had been filled with people then. It had just looked empty to me, that was all. But what did that mean?
ねえ、それよりお願いがあるんだけど、いい？
She put her hands together as if pleading with me.
CD を買いに行きたいんだ。せっかくここまで来てからちょっと寄っていきたいんだけど、いいかな？
No. To be honest, I want to get back to the base as soon as possible. Only taking this longer route home because I thought Shogun Yua might be trying to set an ambush for me. I didn't want to go shopping. But if I refuse here, I might upset Rimi. She might even get mad and leave me here. That would be bad. I needed her to stay with me. I didn't even think I could get back to the base on my own. Dang. You need somebody. In the end, I wasn't able to refuse. Uh-oh. What the hell? 1, 2, 3. Okay. I followed behind her, fear increasing with each step I took. Hopefully even Yua would be reluctant to attack me with this many people around. But I was more scared of the idea that Shogun Yua could be lurking in the crowds than relieved by the thought of getting lost in them. Each time somebody came close to me, I felt something screaming internally.
パトカーだ。
My body froze. I quickly hid behind Rimi. Whoa, what the fuck? She was right. There were 2 police cars stopped in the street. 3 uniformed officers were standing next to them. The police were after me too. I hadn't actually done anything, but they were too stupid to understand that. They were looking for me. What were they looking? Were they looking for me? I wondered. But after a moment, I realized they weren't. They were staring at a crowd that was marching down the street. A protest? Maybe. They were all carrying signs and waving flags, and they even had sashes and headbands. There was a little girl in the rows of the protesters, looking confused as she pulled along by her parents, and ensured the words, "Whose eyes are those?" were written on the back with black magic marker. I bit my lip when I saw it.
何のデモだろうね。
The crowd was full of men and women, and the people were all ages. As they marched, they sometimes yell out slogans. Drive the demons out of Shibuya.
悪魔？
Some of the signs said things like, drive the demons out of Shibuya, or protect Shibuya from terrorists. It was probably a protest over the NewGen murders. Protesting wasn't going to accomplish anything. If they had time to protest, they should just find and kill Shogun instead. Then I wouldn't have to feel so scared all the time.
タク、行こう。
Rimi looked away from the protesters, seemingly disinterested, and began to walk toward the CD shop. Once inside, she headed straight for the indie CD corner. Unlike the J-pop section, there weren't many people here. She stopped in front of the P shelf and began to look for a CD, but she quickly gave up.
やっぱりないな。
Indie band whose name started with P. Could it be?
タクはファンタズムってバンドを知ってる？今話題になってるけど。
I have their CD. I should have guessed that was what she was after. Of course I knew about them. I'd gone to a concert and even owned a CD. I nodded and she chuckled.
私、そういう情報は結構疎くて、最近になって知ったんだ。 それで友達に借りようかと思ったんだけど、なかなか手に入らないらしくて誰も持ってないんだよ。だから CD 買うしかないかなって思って、ここ1週間ぐらいあちこち探してみたんだけど、どこも売り切れ中。次はいつ入るんだろう。
僕持ってる。
Rimi eyes went wide.
持ってるって CD？
I nodded, and then Rimi. Oh fuck. You know it. Put her hands on my shoulders. Her face was so close I almost flinched. The smell of her shampoo tickled my nostrils, and I could feel my face turning red.
ねえタク、取引しよう。
Trade?
その CD 貸してくれたら、見返りに私。
Her face was dead serious. I gulped. Oh, what? Sorry, Taku. No. Oh,
叩
delusion
き割っ
time.
てあげる。
はい。
Snap it in half? Where did that come from? I thought Rimi wasn't the kind of girl to do something so DQN-like. Rimi ignored my confusion and continued talking.
その CD を持ってる人は呪われちゃうの。タク、知らなかったでしょ。
That's the same VA as Homura from Senran Kagura. I couldn't tell.
私の調べた情報によるとね、ニュージェネの被害者はみんなその CD を買った人なの。フェスの予言は CD を買った人にだけ当てはまる。フェスの呪いなの。
That's impossible.
ニュージェネ事件は全部フェスの仕業。
Yui from Angel B.
急が
Gotta
ない
hear
と
more.
次に死ぬのタクだよ。
I love this. I love the delusions.
おーい、
Delusion is so fucking dumb. They're so good. Suddenly, I came back to my senses. Rimi waved her hand in front of my face, looking confused.
どうしたの？急に意識がどこかに飛んじゃってたみたいだけど。
あ、いや、なんでも。
It was just a delusion. That scared me.
その調子だと話聞いてなかったでしょ。じゃあもう一回言うけど、私のお気に入り CD を貸すっていうので手を打ってくれないかな。
Fuck no.
は？
ねえねえ、いいでしょ、お願いします、この通り。
I only listen to anime music.
あ、
Well, this is how it would actually happen in reality, right? I nodded, and she gave a little cheer of joy. It was so funny that I couldn't help but laugh, despite the danger I was in. I managed to get back to the base safely. Of course, it was thanks to Rimi. I was grateful to her. I wish she hadn't refused me when I asked for a little time to clean up my room before she came in, though.
だって前に来た時に汚いっていうのはよーくわかったし、今さら片付けたって無駄だよ。かっこつけなくてもいいって私とタクの中でしょね。
Does she know about Taku's coke problem? He has a coke problem. He's addicted to coke. Were we too close for that? My memories of Rimi was completely gone, so I didn't really know. Sometimes I was surprised at how overly friendly Rimi seems. It didn't really bother me, but it was clear that there was a difference in how we felt about personal space. Was she really serious about she said she didn't care if I cleaned up my room? There was discarded food containers from the convenience stores on the floor, and a stack of H-Games boxes with a XXX cover, rated cover on the bed. Either Rimi was really brave or she didn't see me as any kind of potential threat at all. I wasn't sure how I felt about either option. Rimi didn't seem to have noticed my discomfort at all, though. She sat down on the sofa and was staring at the lyrics booklet from the Phantasm CD. Oh, there you go. He changed his thing again. I see Saber again. I sat down in my computer chair. Alas, I could relax. Fear had worn me down today, but I didn't feel as tired as I thought I would. Probably because Rimi was here with me.
さて、どうしよっか。
She shut the lyric booklet and gave me a big stretch, and she smiled at me. What should we do? Don't ask me. Rimi hadn't come here to hang out. She hadn't come to borrow a CD either. I was glad she was staying here, but what exactly were we supposed to do? Do we have to do anything? If this was an H game, we'd go straight to the H scene, but no. I shouldn't be thinking about stuff like that right now. Being alone in a room with a 3D girl was already a tense enough situation. If I started having delusions, I might end up saying something I regretted. Silence. Rimi was sitting there, staring at the manga on the floor and the H games on the bed. This is awkward. I felt like I should say something, but the only thing I knew how to talk were anime and video games. I couldn't imagine Rimi knew much about either of them. It was Rimi who offered to stay with me. Maybe she'd say something. If she was hoping for me to take the lead in the conversation, she was asking the wrong person. Damn, we got nothing in common, bruh. I really hated dealing with 3D girls. I appreciated her being with me, but this silent pressure was unbearable. Part of the problem was how dark this room was. It made the mood feel kind of erotic. I turned back to my PC, unable to hear the awkwardness anymore. Bear with the awkwardness anymore. There was something I had to look up. It was the idea I had back at the school. The one that might give me a hint toward finding the D-sword. Is it possible to turn the thoughts in your head into a video? What Senna had told me before about VR technologies and how human runs on electricity felt like it could be a good starting point.
何してるの?
Rimi stood up and walked over to me. Should I explain? But how to explain? It felt like it would be a big pain in the ass.
ねえねえ、何してるか教えてよ。
Since I didn't answer, Rimi started poking me in the back with her finger. I couldn't just ignore her, right?
君はその妄想が現実になるって信じられる?
I kept typing search keywords into the browser instead of looking back at her. If anything, I was looking at Sedaton as I spoke.
妄想が現実に? 無理でしょう。もしそれができたら、人はとっくに万能になってるよ。
Anything wanted, huh? That might be true. In your delusions, you could become anything. You could do anything, no matter how unreal. If those delusions could become real, that would mean the unreal could become real too.
それがどうしたの?
それに近いシステムがアメリカで特許あるんだ。
へえ、冗談でしょ。
I wasn't looking at her, but I could sense her giving me a sigh of disbelief. As I showed her the image of the patent that She-Hold had found for me.
これは?
特許の証拠写真。
本当に?
She leaned forward and stared at the monitor. Her head was now right next to mine.
私英語って苦手。すごいね、タク。英語読めるなんて。
I can't read in English. Wait a minute, yes I can. She was so close. I could even see the sparkle in her eyes at the monitor light reflected off them. My heart skipped a beat again. I meant to say Taku can't read English.
ねえねえ、どういうことか教えてよ。
She's not taking an interest. I'm trying my best not to think about how close she was, moving my head so that I could see both Sedaton and the monitor at the same time.
生まれながらに盲目の人でもビデオカメラみたいな映像機器を通すことでそこに映る景色が見えるようになるんだ。これ豆知識な。
And the stutter is such a perfect touch.
ビデオカメラが目の代わりっていうこと？
そう VR 技術って言うんだよ。
へえ、もし本当だったらすごいな。
It is true. Senna said that they even succeeded in testing it.
でも機械を使って目が見えるようになるのと妄想が現実になるってどうつながるの？私頭悪いからよくわかんないや。
As I explained my theories to Rimi, I kept typing keywords into the search engine, but nothing was coming up. I kept going anyway.
映像機器に映る景色も脳内で思い浮かべた妄想も電気信号だから。逆に考えるんだ。脳内に電気信号を送るんじゃなくて脳内から電気信号を送るって考えるんだ。
ほほう。
Her responses were dull, almost blank. Maybe she didn't understand at all. I was tired of explaining things to her, so I just stopped talking. I focused on my research. I didn't really need her to understand anyway. It was just an idea I came up with. Rimi was still nodding and murmuring, even though I stopped talking. I decided to just ignore her. But no matter how much I searched, I couldn't find anything to back up my theory. I decided to change my approach and look at patents instead of just web pages. I went to the English site that Shiho had told me about that had a list of patents. Patients! Patents? I will look and see if anything that could give me any hints. After following a bunch of links, I finally found something similar to what Shiho had shown me before. It was a different patient document than the one for the VR device. I decided to read it immediately.
神経信号パルスを遠隔地からモニターし、それを映像および音声として再現する装置と方法。
Fuck you, Rimi. It was just what I thought of. I leaned forward out of my chair.
これすごいぞ。
すごいの？何が何が？
簡単に言うとこれ他人の思考を盗撮する技術だ。
思考を盗撮。
In other words, you can use a special device to take a look at the image and sounds inside a person's head. And it even said that you could monitor those nerve impulses from satellites. With this, you could read the mind of anybody on Earth.
本当にそんなことできるの？ SF 小説とかそういう類のものなんじゃ？
特許ってそのシステム自体が完全に仕上がってないと絶対に取得できないんだって。
That's what I read when I look up patients online.
だからこれもちゃんとシステムが確立されてるってことだよ。
This wasn't fiction. If you had the money and technological powers to make this system, you could do it anytime you wanted. I remember what Senna had said.
ある意図的な情報を神経パルスへコンバートすることが可能なら人の五感すべてさらには人の意志そのものもコントロールできるんじゃないか。
1, 2, 3. Sorry. I didn't find any sources to confirm or deny that, so it was just a guess. But the theory I came up with had a source. Why wasn't this incredible news anywhere to be found in Japan? It felt like you could win a Nobel for easily. I decided to search for things involving mind reading. What I found was a record in an American court proceeding.
また英文だ。頭痛くなってきそうだよ。
It was pretty long, so I didn't feel like trying to read it at all. I decided to use translation software on it, even if it meant I might end up with something a little off. Damn, bro. The base idea was something like this. Dang, Google Translate to the rescue. Legal proceedings. Plaintiff, N.K. Rebin defendant, United States Department of Defense, Central Intelligence Agency, CIA. Plaintiff claims. My thoughts are being scanned by a special device, recorded and sent somewhere via satellite. I am a hostage to the satellites. I I am exposed to attacks by multiple satellites night and day. 1. Tracking. 2. Mind reading. 2. Mind reading. 3. Observation of my entire body. 4. Biofrequency attacks. 5. Audio attacks. 6. Inducements of physical weakness. I began in late December 1990. I have been shown artificially created dreams, including audio, visuals, and voice content, during my sleep. Between the months of February and May 1992, I was a victim of biofrequency attacks, pain, torture, harassment. I recognized that these attacks upon my person, and beginning in February 1992, I began to record the following in my notes: time, date, contents of particularly painful psychological attacks. These biofrequency attacks will form upon every part of my body. The pain and torture and harassments were finely tuned so that it would cause unpleasurable sensations, exhaustions, and pain to my parts, and sometimes all of my body. The major parts of my body that were affected are as follows: chest, vision, abdomen, brain, to cause sleep disorders, brain, to cause me to have artificial dreams.
思考監視、思考盗撮、しかも国家ぐるみ。マジ？
あ、私これ知ってる。何年か前に映画で見た。
That was just fiction, wasn't it? But these court proceedings were real. There were two possibilities. The plaintiff was just crazy, or it was all real. It was hard to tell which was true. As seeing the patient, it was probably real, but still. But Senna and Ayase weren't crazy, especially Ayase. Yeah, I like Ayase too. I trust her. See, down in that tunnel, I seen her split into two. I didn't see the moment it had happened, but when I turned around, Ayase had been there, in a school swimsuit too. And I seen her pull the D sword out of nowhere too. That wasn't a hallucination or a delusion. After seeing that, I couldn't call her crazy. But there was also what she said. So that strange thing I witnessed had happened because I seen it in my delusions. It was true that it just before it had happened, I was thinking about how Moe and Ayase would look in a school swimsuit. Was that what Ayase had meant by power? The power to project delusions into reality? And it was possible that I had it? Alright. Body. Let's do it, Taku. Huh? What the hell? There's no noise. What the fuck? Maybe there's not supposed to be a noise here. No. I was jumping to conclusion. Maybe there was a system. Check. What? There's no noise. Let me check something real quick. Hold on. Damn, that's what that game looked like. That's pretty cool. Let's do this one real low. What happened to the noise? Damn it. What? Hold on. See, this is what I was afraid of when I was when I stream until I fix this issue, but I never fix it. There you go. I don't know if it's my DAC or it's my, I don't know what it is. That's it is. There you go. That's all I want to hear. Maybe there was a system that could use science to turn delusions into video footage, but that didn't mean psychic powers were real.
見つけなくちゃいけない。自分自身で。方法なんて私にもわからない。
But if maybe the way to get a D sword involved some kind of psychic powers. There you go. If I had that power, it might be worth trying. Oh shit. I got up, leaving Rimi behind as she stared at the computer screen, murmuring to herself. I went to pick up the toy D sword in the corner of the room. I stood in the middle of the room and held it out in front of me in the best approximation of an ESO character that I could do. I started to feel like an idiot. There was no way a wimpy Japanese kid like me could look anything but ridiculous while holding this huge sword. You would see photos online of people cosplaying with weapons like these, and they usually look really stupid. I probably looked the same as they did. Maybe this was hopeless. I decided to try it out anyway. Maybe I should try to imagine the sword in my head. The first thing that came to my mind when I thought of swords were the ones in ESO. Or should I try to envision something like Senna and Ayase had, ones that was beautiful, terrible, and possibly sharp? I couldn't get a clear image of it in my mind, because I wasn't sure what kind of sword to picture. An ESO sword, or one like Ayase or Senna had. I should pick one or the other. I guess the latter would be the best choice. Okay. It's not like I have anything to lose by trying, right? I picture in my mind, gritting my teeth and gripping the sword together. I focus hard. Become real.
やめて。
A warm, soft hand touched my hand as I gripped the sword. I opened my eyes in surprise. Rimi was standing beside me, holding my wrist. She was looking down, her eyes narrowed in pain. Her lips were trembling ever so tightly. What was going on? Something wasn't right. She looked like a totally different person she had a moment ago. But she'd been so confused by the patients. What did that mean? Awful memories came racing through my mind. Rimi was on my side. She was on my side, right? But I didn't know everything about her. Did she know about the D sword too? I gulped and slowly, timidly called out to her.
タク。
Rimi was still looking down as she spoke. Her voice was flat and devoid of emotion.
その件だけど。
Rimi was on my side, right? She wouldn't betray me like Yua did, right? It wouldn't betray me too. What would I do?
捨てた方がいいと思う。
どうして
Oh shit. My voice was cracking. Did Rimi know something about it?
だって
Rimi finally turned the gaze towards me. I looked away as quick as I could. Because what?
だってもう高校生だし。
Rimi suddenly grinned. She smiled at me mischievously. The sudden change knocked all the tension out of my body.
そりゃ男の子っていくつになってもそういうおもちゃが大好きなんだなってのはなんとなくわかるけど、さすがにそんな大きなおもちゃ一人で部屋で振り回してるのはどうかと思うよ。それが許されるのは小学生までじゃない？でもタクの個人的な趣味を私の前で披露してくれたってのはちょっと嬉しいかも。
Bruh, Taku, don't fall for this bullshit. Keep thinking about the D sword.
私にだけ秘密を教えてくれたみたいで。
What? I felt silly for being scared.
そもそもそれどこで買ってきたの？高かったんじゃない？
1万円渋谷の雑貨屋で。
へえ、1万円か。安いのか高いのかわからないけどでもそんな大きなおもちゃが普通に売ってるんだね。私そんな大きなのを直接見たのって初めて。 その雑貨屋さんに売ってるっていうのは誰かに教えてもらったの？
She was really interested in this. Was she interested in swords like these? Maybe she was secretly an otaku herself. She kind of made fun of me while I was holding it, but maybe she actually wanted one of her own. Wow, that's totally tsundere. Lol.
自分で調べた。ネットで。
ネットか。
Oh, the music stopped. I wonder why.
すごいな。何でも情報が手に入るんだね。私は全然ダメ。パソコンなんてろくに使えないよ。で、その剣って流行ってるの？
なんで？
タクはどうしてそれを買おうと思ったのかなって。
Should I tell her the truth? If she was going to stay with me, she might end up looking for the real D sword with me too. Maybe I should tell her.
これは偽物だけど、本物があるんだ。
本物
Rimi seemed a little confused.
本物を持ってる人を僕知ってるんだ。二人いる。同じ学校の女子。
女子ね。女の子。
Oh man, what the fuck? Why is it like this? Damn, this never happened before. There you go. 1 2 1 2. Damn it. Fuck Windows, bro. Windows is fucking garbage. I fucking hate Windows. They always fucking making dumbass updates. Always changing some shit in your settings without you fucking knowing. Windows is complete fucking garbage, bruh. I fucking hate Windows so much, man. Fuck Windows. God, whoever made fucking Windows, I hope you fucking stub your toe every fucking night before you fucking sleep. You deserve pain for eternity. That's fucked up. Alright, I have to vent that out. Because it's only happening on this fucking shitty ass Windows. I had issues with my previous mic too. And it's always like stuff with USB related. Like USB just randomly fucking shut down for no reason. I don't know why this shit's happened. So fucking retarded. Would a girl really want to own a toy like this?
本当なんだ。それにおもちゃじゃない。
あ、ごめん。
本物は光るんだ。それにすごい存在感で。僕それを探してる。それさえ手に入れれば僕は救われるんだ。
救われるって。
Yumi looked surprised by what I was saying, but I was totally serious. Having a diesel would give me a way to fight back against Shogun.
それで
Excuse me. I want you to help me find it, is what I wanted to say. But the thought of her saying no made me so scared that I couldn't ask. I threw the fake sword down on the ground and sat on the sofa. Then I sighed and closed my eyes. Maybe Rimi would volunteer to help me find it. That made things so much easier. Maybe that was too much to hope for. But Rimi had appeared out of nowhere to help me before, when I needed her most. So maybe.
とにかく、もし本物があったとしても、それこそ買ったりしちゃダメだよ。
You think they're trying to...
のはおもちゃだからいいけど、本物ってことは銃刀法違反になっちゃうんだから。
Let me get this on my chest. You think they're trying to make Windows 10 worse? So people will upgrade to their shitty ass Windows 11? I feel like that might happen, bro. Right? They like updated purposely bad. So you were forced to go to Windows 11. But no one wants to go to Windows 11 because it's garbage. My hopes were mercilessly dashed. Oh my god, it's broken again, bruh. I don't know how to fix it. This is fucking garbage. Man, I should. Let's see. Maybe I could do this. How about this? Is it noise? I should click. Nope, not gonna play. It has to be the one of the USB devices. I wonder. Let's try this. Ah, there you go. Then where's it right here? Okay. Okay. Let's try this. Oh god. 1, 2, 3. My host from Wrestling Dash sobbed, Rimi, I'm disappointed in you. Well, her reaction was the one most people would have. The only reason I felt differently was because after all the weird things that happened over the past few weeks, I believe that Senna and Ayase said, I just have to find the D-sword myself.
それでタク、
I could feel Rimi sitting down beside me.
その本物の剣を持ってる女子って誰かな。
Her voice was coming right next to me. She was sitting right beside me. We were alone in a dark room, just the two of us, and she was sitting right next to me. Emergency. We have an emergency here.
タクに女子の知り合いが私以外にいたなんてちょっとびっくり。もしかして彼女？
Did she have to ask that? Was she trying to tempt me? Maybe? Why was she talking about kanojos? Was she maybe going to tell me she wanted to be my girlfriend? And then there'd be a romantic mood between us? And then... No, I wasn't ready for that. I opened my eyes and shook my head. Both Ayase and Senna were very mysterious. Also a little crazy, probably. Come on, bruh. If there were 2D characters, they'd be really moe, but not 3D. Especially Senna. Just talking to her terrified me. She felt like she could beat me up at any moment. I didn't want to get involved with her at all if I could avoid it.
そっか。ちょっと安心したかな。
Man, she's totally fucking reading his mind, bruh. Oh, he shook his head. That's it. I feel like she read his mind, though. Last time, it wouldn't let me choose a delusion. What did she say? Oh crap, oh crap. My whole body froze. This was leading where I thought it was, right? She meant that what I thought she meant, right? She was trying to get me to say something here, right? What was I supposed to say? Was I supposed to give her the answer she wanted to hear? I mean, I liked the idea, but I didn't know if it was up for dating 3D girls. No delusions. Usually when the delusion happens, the screen get wavy. Maybe we haven't unlocked it yet, that's why. I glanced over at Rimi, unsure of what to say. Holy shit! Oh, I got caught off guard. Damn it. It doesn't work on CGs. Dude, that fucking shirt, I hate those fucking shirts. The flesh color shirts, man, I had one of those in real life. That shit sucks. It looks like I'm shirtless. I don't like that shit. Rimi clothes had changed. Oh yeah, she was wearing a school uniform. She'd been wearing her uniform a second ago. Had she managed to change in a short time? I had my eyes closed. No, of course not. My mind was having trouble keeping up with this sudden change.
どうかした？
She seemed confused. She didn't say anything about her new outfit. What did that mean? Did she not realize that it happened? Or was she just plain dumb? I looked at her outfit, trying my best to not look like I was staring. What? Is this what she wore when she didn't wear her uniform? I only seen her in her uniform, so this felt very different. Her top was some kind of denim jacket. She was wearing a miniskirt. The long socks she had been wearing a second ago was nowhere to be seen. In other words, I could see her bare legs. Her thighs looked smooth and thick. The way she was sitting with her legs up with that miniskirt, Miss Sakihata, I think I can almost see your panties. Actually, depending on the angle, it almost looked like she wasn't wearing any. Whoa. Wearing any at all. My eyes kept heading towards the skirt V zone. I tried desperately not to give into the temptation. The way she was sitting, it reminded me of the cover of a famous H game. I don't remember that one. Yeah, that's why I don't know that one. Okay. It was called Thrown Away Sister. It was famous enough to get an anime. I don't remember that shit. The first edition package had the heroine sitting just like Rimi was now. The illustration was so meh. I even used it as my PC wallpaper for a while. Was this a delusion? A hallucination? Or was it real? Crap. My little man been staring to boot up at the thought of Rimi was wearing beneath under her skirt. I could smell the sweat. I could smell her sweet scent coming from Rimi's body, and her skin felt real in a way that figures in 2D never did. So this was the power of 3D. All my deeply held values were in danger of being wiped out. I told myself I wasn't into 3D girls, that I only loved 2D girls. But Rimi's body had destructive power about it that had threatened to eradicate those beliefs.
ねえ、タク。
Rimi gave me an innocent smile. She seemingly oblivious to the fact that her clothes had changed.
私、喉乾いてきちゃった。何か飲み物ある？
I got Coke. I stood up and headed for the fridge, happy to have something to take my mind off her before I exploded. I looked down into the fridge. I had a thing of soda, but I already drank out of it. Giving to her would be weird.
ないなら買ってこようかな。コンビニって深センの駅前にあったよね。
I like her jean skirt. I could sense Rimi standing up behind me.
ちょっと行ってくる。
Nice. She smiled and left the room without waiting for my answers. I'm left alone. I tried to think. What had I just seen? Was it just a delusion after all? Rimi closed the second ISA? What was it that had made these delusions feel so real? Was I the one who done it even? Did I have that power or not? If so, how could I use it? How could I get a D sword? There's so many problems, I didn't even know where to start. What the fuck? What happened to your denim outfit? Rimi just left just a second after coming back, and she was wearing her school uniform. Has she changed when she was outside? For what reason?
私、財布持ってくの忘れてた。
I don't remember. What was I What was Taku delusion? He had a delusion. He didn't have one, right? It came into reality. Her change. Why was he thinking about a denim outfit? It's a weird delusion. Oh, maybe he said it was a cover of his H game, a famous H game. Maybe he was thinking about that. All right. Excuse me. Excuse me. Rimi must have not noticed my confusion because she just chuckled, reached her hand into her bag, and took out her wallet.
弟子それじゃあ改めて買ってくるね
Fit at all. I put my fingers to my temples and moaned softly. Somebody please explain what's going on. Alright. Let's save right here. Because I'm having technical issues. Hopefully I resolve those issues later. But appreciate everyone that stopped by. It's been cool. We'll play more Chaos Head later. Laters. Bye.